I owe Mezzasalma a debt I can't repay, and now he's collecting. The salt spray stung my face as I unloaded crates of frozen cod. The smell, usually just a background hum of the docks, felt sharper today, like a warning. I hadn't seen Mezzasalma in almost 10 years, but the docks had long memories. They remembered things I tried to forget. 10 years ago, I was a mess. Gambling had eaten me alive. I was down to my last dime, owing more money than I could ever hope to repay. Then Sal Mezzasalma appeared. He didn't look like much. A wiry guy in a cheap suit, always calm, always smiling with teeth that seemed just a little too sharp. He offered a way out. Not a loan, exactly. A favor. One favor to wipe the slate clean. I didn't ask questions. I was drowning. The favor was ugly. It involved persuading a union official to look the other way on some shipments. Persuasion involving things I still can't speak about. It worked. The debt vanished. But the guilt never does. Now, here I was, Mayor Rossi, reformed gambler, trying to keep my head down and provide for my sister, Sophia. She was a nurse at St. Jude's, the only good thing in my life. Sophia, with her quick smile and unwavering belief in me. A shadow fell across the crate I was wrestling. A familiar scent of lemon cologne and something else, something metallic like old blood. I looked up. Sal Mezzasalma. He hadn't aged a day. "Mayor," he said, his voice smooth as silk. "It's been a while." My gut clenched. "Sal, what do you want?" He smiled, that same unsettling smile, just collecting on a debt, not money. I knew it wouldn't be money. I paid my debt. "Did you, Mayor? Did you really?" He chuckled softly. I seem to recall that was just the interest. The principal, that's a different story. He leaned closer, his breath ghosting across my ear. "I need another favor, Mayor. A small one. For old time's sake." "No." The word choked in my throat. His smile didn't waver. "Think about it, Mayor. Think about Sophia." The threat hung in the air, thick and suffocating. He left me standing there, the salt spray suddenly feeling like ice needles on my skin. That night, I found Benny, the rat Rinaldi, down by the pier, scavenging for cigarette butts. Benny knew everything that happened on the docks, and most of what happened off them too. He was a weasel, but sometimes a useful one. "Benny," I said, grabbing him by the arm. "Mezzasalma's back." Benny's eyes widened, his Adam's apple bobbing nervously. "Sal?" "Jesus, Mayor, you're shitting me. He wants another favor. What do you know about him?" Benny hesitated, glancing around nervously. "I hear things, Mayor. Whispers. Stuff people don't like to talk about. They say he ain't just connected. They say he's something else." "Something else? Like what?" Benny shook his head, his voice barely above a whisper. "Like he makes deals with things you don't want to know about. Like he can get you anything if you're willing to pay the price. A price that ain't always money." He wouldn't say more. Fear had clamped his mouth shut. The next day, I went to see Father Angelo at St. Joseph's. The church smelled of incense and old wood, a small comfort in a world that felt increasingly like hell. I confessed everything. The gambling, the first favor, Mezzasalma's return. Father Angelo listened patiently, his face etched with concern. "My son," he said, his voice gentle, "you are carrying a heavy burden. But God offers forgiveness. You must resist this evil. Go to the police. Tell them everything." I shook my head. The police can't protect Sophia. Mezzasalma, he's different. He has ways. Father Angelo sighed. "I understand your fear, but you cannot give in to despair. Pray, Mayor. Pray for strength." I prayed. I prayed until my knees were raw and my voice was hoarse. But the feeling of dread wouldn't lift. Mezzasalma called me that evening. "Have you thought about my offer, Mayor?" "What do you want?" I asked, my voice trembling. "A patient at St. Jude's," he said, his voice devoid of emotion. "A young woman. Name of Lisa Bartoli. She needs persuading. To leave town. Permanently. Lisa Bartoli. I knew her. She was a sweet girl, always smiling. She volunteered at the hospital, reading to the children. "No," I said, the word firm this time. "I won't do it." "Think carefully, Mare," Mezzasalma said softly. "Sophia works at that hospital, doesn't she? Accidents happen, especially in understaffed hospitals." He hung up. I felt like I was drowning again. But this time, I wasn't alone. This time, Sophia was being dragged down with me. I went to see Detective Isabella Moretti. I'd known Izzy since we were kids. She was tough, smart, and she hated the kind of scum Mezzasalma represented. I told her everything, leaving nothing out. She listened intently, her expression grim. "Mare," she said, "this is serious. We can put Mezzasalma away, but we need evidence. We need you to wear a wire." "And put Sophia at risk?" "No way." Izzy sighed. "I understand, but we're running out of time. We've been investigating a string of disappearances connected to Mezzasalma. People who crossed him, people who owed him money. They vanish without a trace." "What about Lisa Bartoli?" I asked. Izzy's eyes narrowed. "What do you know about her?" I told her about Mezzasalma's request. Izzy swore under her breath. "He's escalating," she said. "We need to move fast." But even with the police involved, I couldn't shake the feeling that we were playing a game with rules we didn't understand. Mezzasalma always seemed to be one step ahead. The next day, I went to see Lisa Bartoli at St. Jude's. She was sitting in the hospital garden, reading to a group of children. She looked so innocent, so full of life. I couldn't do it. I couldn't hurt her. But I also couldn't let Mezzasalma hurt Sophia. I decided to play Mezzasalma hurt Sophia. I decided to play Mezzasalma's game, but on my terms. "I'll do it," I said, "but I need something in return. Assurance that Sophia will be safe." "You drive a hard bargain, Mare," he said, his voice amused. "Very well. I give you my word. Sophia will not be harmed." I knew his word wasn't worth the air it was spoken on, but it was all I had. That night, I went to Lisa Bartoli's apartment. I didn't go there to hurt her. I went there to warn her. I told her everything. About Mezzasalma, about the disappearances, about the danger she was in. She listened in stunned silence, her eyes wide with fear. "You have to leave," I said. "Now, go somewhere safe, somewhere he can't find you." She nodded, tears streaming down her face. "Thank you," she whispered. "Thank you for telling me." I helped her pack a bag, gave her some money, and drove her to the bus station. I watched her board the bus station, that she would be safe. Then, I waited for Mezzasalma. He arrived an hour later, his face expressionless. "Where is she, Mare? She's gone," I said. I warned her. "She's safe." Mezzasalma's eyes narrowed. "You double-crossed me." "I saved her," I said, "and I saved myself." He smiled, that chilling, unsettling smile. "You think you've won, Mare. You haven't. You just delayed the inevitable." He gestured, and two men emerged from the shadows. They were big, silent, and their eyes were dead. They grabbed me, dragged me into a waiting car. We drove to an abandoned warehouse on the edge of the docks. Inside, the air was thick with the smell of damp concrete and decay. Mezzasalma sat at a table, a single lamp illuminating his face. "You owe me, Mare," he said. "You always will." He produced a small silver box. Inside, nestled on a bed of velvet, was a human tooth. A molar, stained yellow with age. "I need you to deliver this," he said, "to a certain individual. Someone who appreciates unique artifacts." I stared at the tooth, a cold dread creeping into my bones. I knew, instinctively, that this was something far worse than anything I had ever done before. "Who is it for?" I asked, my voice barely a whisper. Mezzasalma smiled. "Let's just say, someone who can make all your problems disappear. For a price, of course." He named the individual and a location in the old part of the city. A man feared by even Mezzasalma's associates. I knew that if I delivered that tooth, I would be crossing a line from which there was no return. I would be forfeiting my soul. But I also knew that if I didn't, Mezzasalma would make good on his threat to Sophia. I took the box. The next few hours were a blur. I found the location Mezzasalma mentioned, a dilapidated building with boarded-up windows. The air around it felt heavy, oppressive, like something was watching me. Inside, I found the individual Mezzasalma spoke of. A grotesque figure, shrouded in shadows. Its eyes burned with an unholy light. I handed over the box. The figure took it, its long, skeletal fingers trembling with anticipation. As I turned to leave, I heard a voice that seemed to echo from the depths of hell. "You have served me well," it said. "You will be rewarded." I didn't wait to see what the reward was. I ran until I collapsed, gasping for breath, on the steps of St. Joseph's. Father Angelo found me there, trembling and covered in sweat. He helped me inside, gave me a glass of water. "What happened, my son?" he asked, his voice filled with concern. I told him everything, sparing no detail. He listened in silence, his face growing paler with each word. When I was finished, he shook his head sadly. "You have walked a dark path, Mayor, a path that may lead to damnation." "Is there any hope?" I asked, my voice desperate. Father Angelo sighed. "There is always hope, my son. But you must confess your sins, repent, and turn away from evil." I confessed. I repented. But the feeling of dread wouldn't lift. Detective Moretti found me the next day. She told me that Mezzasalma had disappeared, along with his enforcers. Lisa Bartoli was safe, living under an assumed name in another state. "We can't prove anything," Izzy said, "but we know he was involved in those disappearances. We just can't find the bodies." She looked at me, her eyes filled with suspicion. "You know more than you're telling me, Mayor. I can feel it." I didn't say anything. I couldn't. Sophia came to see me that evening. She was pale and shaken, but she was alive. "What happened, Mayor?" she asked, her voice trembling. "I heard things at the hospital, whispers about Mezzasalma. About you." I told her the truth, as much as I could. I didn't tell her about the tooth, about the figure in the abandoned building. Some things were best left unsaid. She looked at me, her eyes filled with a mixture of fear and disappointment. "I don't understand, Mayor," she said. "Why did you do it? Why did you risk everything?" "I did it for you, Sophia," I said. "I did it to protect you." She shook her head. "I don't need your protection, Mayor. I just need you to be honest with me." She left, her face etched with sadness. I was alone. I had saved Sophia, but I had lost her trust. I had escaped Mezzasalma, but I knew he would be back. The cycle never ends. I walked down to the docks, the salt spray stinging my face. The smell of the sea was different now, tinged with something acrid, something rotten. I saw something then, etched into the side of a shipping container. A symbol. An ancient symbol of sacrifice. The same symbol I'd seen on the silver box containing the tooth. The same symbol that now seemed branded onto my soul. The salt air tasted like ash, and I knew, with a certainty that chilled me to the bone, that Mezzasalma wasn't finished with the Rossi family.